So when X happens, we react Y. That's our trigger. X is our trigger, we react. We don't want to react. React is from the stories we're told when we're younger, usually itty bitties, we get told something. In my case, when I was younger, I wanted to hang out with my sister, and we were on a boat on a lake, and I could only go if I bought a tank of gas or paid for pizza. So I had to buy my way in. That's where my first story came in, from buying my way into community. And that's a trigger for me. You know, I've got to buy my way. Oh my God. And then in high school, late high school, maybe after high school, depends on who I'm talking to. Oh my God, I could buy my way in with sex. Ooh, you know, I don't have to pay money. I've got sex now. Because money doesn't count with teenagers. It's sex. So, all right, I can buy my way in that way. I was not promiscuous, I had one boyfriend. But we have all these stories that we tell ourselves. And it's because of these stories that we are blocked as we go through our lives. We get to our age now. And what is it that we're not allowing ourselves to do? Because of the stories. And it's an automatic trigger. So what we'll explore today is what your stories are. Eddie? No.
Mouse.
Mouse. Nick. Mouse. Technology, Donna. So we're going to talk about PTS. PTS is post-traumatic story. We all have them. You're going to identify the story, find your strength. Once you identify the story, is it still serving you? Probably not. But if it's still serving you, then that's okay. You can hang on to that story. You'll meet my Wisdom Herd partners and have it contact me if you want to continue on. So, post-traumatic stories, as I said, we get these stories through our lives. I was told I could only buy my way in through community with my sister when I was 11. In high school, I had friends not contact me, no social media, no cell phones or anything. So if you didn't set something up ahead of time, it wasn't going to happen. I had two girlfriends that we always went out on Saturdays. I called one of them on Saturday morning, what are we going to do today? And her mother told me, oh, they've already gone out. But what about me? I'm not good enough to continue in that. I never did find out why. When I was, one of my first jobs, I was an administrative assistant for a CEO of a company. And he literally told me, he said, everyone in the office, small office, everyone in the office is going to want to be your friend. But that's only to get to me. It's got nothing to do with you. So the message was written again. Now all of these messages are written on my whiteboard. And if you're familiar with writing on a whiteboard, the more you write on it, the more, and you try to erase it, the more you can still see the letters. So these are things that I took with me. And it wasn't until just a couple years ago, just before I started writing my book, I was at a conference in Atlanta, and it was the big upsell, and it was like, oh my God, I've got to come up with $12,000 to stay in this community, and it is. And I sat back at the table and I said, what the hell am I doing? I'm doing it again. But I was aware of what my trigger was, and I was able to say, no, I don't need to be in this community. I can move on. So that's what it is, PTS stands for post-traumatic stories, and traumatic stories can be anything from a traumatic brain injury, which I have sustained and gotten much better at since then. But it's also, you have a 16-year-old who got a bad haircut. You were like, what's the big deal? It's gonna grow back. It's, this is traumatic for her. And if you discount that, she takes that message. My feelings don't matter. So you've got to be aware of what you're telling the younglings that are in your life. You know, instead of saying, oh my God, that was so stupid, why did you do that? Or just say, huh, I'm really surprised at the mess you made, but you know, what was your thought process? Why did you do that? Be curious. Don't negate what they're doing. And if you're dealing with toddlers or, you know, tweens, they do something to get a reaction from you. They know what your reaction's gonna be. They can count on your reaction. So once you're aware of what your reaction is and what that trigger is, take a moment. Respond. They're not gonna know what to do with that. So they will escalate. Because, oh my God, mom's not reacting like she usually does. So what do? I better get, you know, I better do something even worse, or I want to get more attention. Just stay curious. Stay curious, and you will give them permission to explore whatever it is that they're going through. Because they will take that with them through their lifetimes. You know, I'm 64. I took those messages with me through my entire lifetime. And if I can teach you or younglings more now how to be aware of what those stories are going to be, then we can change lives. So one of the things that scares me right now is social media and what our teens are going through. We didn't grow up with social media. I did not put a value on myself as to how many likes I got over a post. But they do. We have no idea what those implications are going to be. And I asked my nephew at one point, I was like, I don't understand why you put so much value on this. And he said, because it's the only social interaction we have. And how scary is that? I mean, I want to have a social interaction. I want to know how to talk to you. I don't want to just say, hey, Lisa, you know, what are you doing today?
You know, it's interesting.
Great outfit. Yeah.
Interesting that you say that, because my niece, she was going out with a little boy, but they were going out in a group. And so my sister-in-law wanted to go kind of be eavesdropping on it. And there was a group of kids, and I would say there was probably 10 or 12 of them. They were not talking to each other. They were texting to each other. And they're like, oh, no way. But texting back and forth, like all of us would have our meeting and texting.
Yeah.
They don't have any social,
No.
They don't have any social skills, and
No.
they're not being taught that.
So where does that leave us in, you know, in 15 years, when, you know,
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years, when they're running the world? Holy crap, we're screwed.
It's all gonna be in
Exactly.
You get a text from the President of the United States.